Yeah, hi guys. I have 14 plus years of experience, and relevant to Workday, I have 7 plus years, and in the training part, more than 3 plus years I have been into the training. So yeah, everyone, can you please go ahead and introduce yourself in a short, just to make sure your why you want to go with the Workday. Yeah, please one by one introduce yourself and why you want to looking for Workday and what's your background.
Hi, I'm Dinesh here.
Yeah, hi Dinesh.
Yeah. Okay, I'm currently working as a HR. I have 3 years, 9 months of experience overall
Okay,
looking into the operations. Previously, I have and 1 year months into the operations. This is my
Your
into the
voice.
workday because for my career growth.
Okay, all right, thank
Yeah,
you.
am I audible now?
Yeah, you are. Actually, your voice was in and out, but yeah, it's okay now. It is now.
Yeah, that is the thing. I want to switch into the workday to growth my career.
Okay, Dinesh, thank you. Yeah, next go with the one by one.
Hi, this is Vaneshwari.
Yeah, hi Bhuvaneshwari.
Yeah. I'm having like almost 8 years of experience in domestic IT recruitment.
Okay,
And from past 2 years onwards, like I'm not working and currently like I would like to switch my domain as well.
okay,
So that's why I chose Workday.
okay, great, thank you. Yeah, please go with one by one. So
Yeah, good evening, sir. This
yeah,
is
hi.
this is Mani from Bangalore, sir. I'm working in TK Invento Technologies as a human resource specialist. So actually, I am using some of the softwares around the inbuilt software from the previous companies for EASP. Now I am using the Grady HR.
Okay,
So I eager to learn for a workday because it is so many big organizations and most of the trusting people they are using the workday. So that's why I looking to learn for our workdays. That's it.
okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jayant.
Good evening.
Yeah, hi Jayant.
Yeah, my name is Jayant. So I am having for 3 plus years of experience in HR.
Okay,
So I am looking forward to join this particular session. I would like to switch my domain. Yeah, that is the primary agenda to join the meeting.
great. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Melvin.
Yeah, hello, sir. My name is Melvin. I have 2 plus years of experience in UK and Europe recruitment. I'm looking for my career growth to switch to Workday HCM. Sir.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yes, so my name is Shahana. I have in total like 9 years of experience. Currently, I'm working on Workday for Finance Plus and Travel Expense.
Okay, you're currently working on finance.
Yeah.
Okay. So finance got a very good market, right? Like, so what's the reason for like knowing the functional part or core HCM?
Yeah, I'm not into like technical and integration for Workday. I am into auditing the
Okay,
expense report part. Yeah.
okay, okay. All right, all right. I guess that's it, right? Do you have
Yes.
anyone? Okay. All right, thank you. So let me share my screen. Yes, you guys can see my screen, right? Yeah, anyone please acknowledge so that we can understand.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, it is visible, sir.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. And I normally go with the, it's not that like FM radio where I'll be, from one side, I'm just going or flowing the things. it would be better if we are also communicating so that at least I can understand that what you guys required, and at least the initial stages where we can understand that what you guys looking out for or what's your background and all. That's the main reason I was asking about this, to confirm that. So most of the crowd, which I can say that you guys are into the HR backdrop or the recruitment or HR backdrop, so that what I can say is if there is anything, if I need to explain it more, so that I can explain that according to your backdrop. So that's the reason I was asking for. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much. And this is the Workday HCM techno-functional demo. And why we call it techno-functional, I will talk about this a little later once we are talking about the topics, the topic wise, what are the topics we are going to cover in this session. So we'll talk about that later part. Okay. So first we need to understand what is a HCM, and then we correlate that to Workday. So HCM is a human capital management. So what will happen with the human capital management, like when it comes to the HR, even when we say that the HR, they're also working for like what exactly the life cycle of the employee. And this application, the HCM, which we are talking about, it is also talking about the employee life cycle from the recruitment to retirement, from the recruitment to exit from the company, from the recruitment to where if they put down the papers and they want to, or termination kind of thing happen. So that's how it is, where whatever the duration they are into the company, so that we call it a complete cycle. We got different modules in Workday. We call it every phase become a module. We'll talk about those, what are all the modules which are available in Workday and everything. But this is how it works. This is what the life cycle which we're talking about, the HCM. Along with the HCM, we need to understand that ERP. So when ERP comes to the market, before ERP comes to the market, it was hectic to the organizations. So why and what is the ERP? What exactly we are going to do with the ERP? It's a enterprise resource planning or management, whatever we call it. And what will happen? We have HR team, we have sales team, we have inventory team. All these teams were available, but we need to send the data from one team to another team. That was very hectic before launching the ERP into the market. So after ERP, it made our job easy. So we got many ERP applications outside. You can see that Oracle HCM Cloud, SAP SuccessFactors, right? Microsoft Dynamics and all. But why companies are moving into Workday? Because as a job seeker, we normally, including me, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm actually doing, working in one of the company as a lead. So what I'm trying to say is, if we are going to try that, or as a job seeker, we see what exactly the course demand on that. Like we'll jump into that, we'll learn that, we'll move into that. That's how it works. But when it comes to the companies, if you're thinking about a company perspective, so you will understand better of these complete sessions. You will understand better if you think about a company's perspective. So why companies are moving in? Because we are moving to get the job because of the job seekers. But how about the companies? Because the company wise, if you look into that, it's completely cloud native solution. We'll talk about that, what exactly cloud native and all. The next slide is the informational slide, and it's a user friendly interface. Trust me guys, I guess everyone must be using any social media platforms, but this is, if you practice well, this works like a social media platform, like how that friendly it is, the interfaces. That's how you can use it. And it got a unified platform where you can say that one-stop solution, and which got a continuous innovation on it. And we'll talk more about Workday, why companies are moving into Workday nowadays. Okay. As I've told you, this is the informational slide. I was talking about cloud native or cloud 100% cloud. So what is the difference between a cloud and the physical servers? We call it in-house or on-prem servers. So if you see that, maybe if you're not from the background like of this servers, how the companies are going to work, so I'll just give a glimpse of it. So if you see that in the right hand side, there are cables available. So that's how it is when we take when you get a chance to get into the server room. And the below one, we are talking about cloud. We can understand that. So we no need to maintain the server room. After cloud comes to the picture, we no need to maintain the server room because that's a physical maintenance should be there. And as well as we need to, there is no scalability because it got a limited scalability. What do you mean by scalability? If I want 10 servers today, if there is any sale or anything happen, like for example, Amazon or Flipkart, any sale is happening, in a normal days, they want 100 servers. Example, just I'm giving an example. If the sale is happening, the next day they want 1,000 servers. So they cannot move immediately if it is a in-house or on-prem servers, physical servers. They cannot go ahead and arrange those servers overnight. So that's very easy where they can use the cloud. If you're going to use the cloud, it's very easy to go ahead and how many we want, we can use it, and we can pay as you go model. Like how much we are going to use it, we are going to pay that. That's how it is. I normally give the example of your laptop. Like normally everyone is using a laptop. If you are using your laptop, of course we need to go ahead and if there is any issues with that, we need to go ahead and look into that if there is any software or hardware issues. But if you're working for one of the company, if company is providing you a laptop, of course there you can, they will be taking care of if there is any issues with the laptop. Right? So that's how it works. And now we try to understand that what is a HCM and ERP and all, just a terminology what we're talking about, and what exactly the Workday HCM. So Workday HCM is actually software as a service solution. Does anyone have an idea about this? SaaS? Anyone heard about it? Yes, no, all right.
No.
Okay, no worries. We have a separate slide for that. Next slide is talking about software as a service solution. What exactly is that? We need to understand that how it works. Okay. So as I've told you that we got, we're talking about in the Workday, we got modules. Whatever the phases, like from the, recruitment to retirement, how many phases are there? So what are all the phases which we're talking about? Those are the modules which we call it. And it got like as a unified solutions where we can go with the, one-stop solution also, like where we means as a company point of view, if you think about it. So we get all the options in Workday. I mean to say all the modules which we can go ahead and implement. Okay, so that's how the Workday would be working because it got a continuous innovation and all. Why? Because Workday every year, like every 6 months, I can say that, will be releasing the updates. So like how we get the updates for our phone, the similar way, every 6 months in the month of March and in the month of September, Workday will be releasing the updates. So that's how it works. And yeah, that's what we'll be talking about. And when it comes to, I was talking about software as a service, in cloud only we got, these services. We were talking about cloud. In cloud only we got these services. One is platform as a service, PaaS, and in another one is infrastructure as a service, that is IaaS, and software as a service, that is SaaS. So here, I normally run with one of the examples so that everyone can relate to that. It's a layman example, guys. If you want to bake a cake, okay, so how the cloud system would be working? Cloud is arranging kitchen. Cloud is arranging a kitchen and all the ingredients. Just you are entering into the kitchen and you are baking a cake. All right. Everything is set it up by one of the third party. That is the concept of the cloud. We are not owning that. We are not like whatever we have. So that has been how much we are going to use that. That is what the pay as you go model. That is a layman example of the cloud. So if you take the same example for the platform as a service, what will happen? See, we means as a company, we can go ahead and develop the tools and the services and whatever the we want, like example of the Google App Engine or Microsoft App Services, where we can go ahead and create those or develop those. We don't need to worry about the infrastructure, how it is, what exactly it is. We don't need to worry about it, and we can. It's also pay as you go model. And what is infrastructure as service? That is called IaaS. The same example, if I run that, the layman example, you're going to bake a cake, entering into the kitchen. After that, you got an idea. Why can't I use that? There is a refrigerator in the kitchen. There is a micro oven in the kitchen. So why can't we use that? Okay. So how we are going to use that? Like we create virtual machines. We create storage like S3 bucket in AWS. If anyone is heard about this, like Amazon Web Services, EC2 instances. So all this comes under this IaaS. This is also pay as you go model. And the last one, which we're talking about, software as a service, that is SaaS. So we are not entering into the kitchen at all to bake a cake. So we are, wherever we are going to order it. So we don't know where the kitchen is. It doesn't matter. That's how the Workday will be working. So Workday operates in such a way. It's a centrally hosted, and this is called a subscription based. And I can give an example of like Gmail. Normally we take an example of Gmail. Like we have, we can able to access, see, everyone must be having the Gmail, where we can able to access our Gmail where, it's not only from your laptop, right? We can able to access from any laptop, any place, but only thing is you need to have internet access and Gmail account, username and password. Yes or no? So that we can able to access it. So that's what we are talking about, SaaS. That is software as a service. That's how the Workday will be working. So that means Workday will be providing the tenant access. We'll talk about what is tenant. I'm just giving you a terminology of tenant. So Workday provides the tenant access, and that will be like just sending a browser or like URL. Okay. And it's centrally hosted, and we don't need to install or do any maintenance on it. So absolutely, that's how it works. That's what we need to understand, that what is SaaS. Now we'll come to as I was talking about modules, right? We got different modules. So we'll just go through that kind of modules and all, like to try to understand that how the module works, or like how we are going to understand the module. Now, as a job seeker, if you're looking into from the outside perspective, what will happen till now? You will be checking the job portals, and you will be looking into the JD, and if you're relevant to the JD, you will be sending an email, and of course they will be shortlisting your CV and all. Like you will be continuing with the rounds of interview, like 1, 2, 3, depends on the company to company. So once it's done, once you're shortlisted, they will be going with the they'll be offering you job, whether you're going to accept it or not, that's completely different, and that's how you'll be joining into a company. This is what we can see that from the outside of this world in a Workday ecosystem. But now we need to understand in the company perspective. Now we will look the same thing from the company's perspective. So what will happen in the company? There is a requirement in the company. They will run that it's an internal or external requirement. They will run it with the job portals or the agencies, right? Consult for that. They need these candidates. This is the JD. This is what they mention, and few companies they'll mention that in the JD, include that the salary range also. Okay, so in that scenario, what will happen where the people will apply? So we means as a company point of view, we'll be looking into those all the profiles, shortlist that, and call for them like the interview. So what exactly happening? All this is the recruitment, guys. This is the what is happening here. Recruitment. That's a module. Here we call it recruitment is another one separate module. Okay, and once we go ahead and once they are in, we are providing a laptop from the company perspective, and they'll be joining in, and immediately the next month, as soon as they join, the next month onwards, they're supposed to get their salary, right? So they need to be part of the payroll. Here the payroll itself is a separate module, and how they are working we need to understand as a company. Like, it's not that they're just coming and going to the office, right? Going from the office. So it's not like that. So what they are doing, are they punching in their timings? It's a time tracking where they're 8 hours or 9 hours per day, they are just moving into that. Like, that is a separate module, time tracking. And advanced compensation, we'll talk about this in the compensation part. You will understand better. And if there is a talent management and the learning management, I mean, how they can see themselves after 5 years in the learning part, what's happening with their learning and all, and the performance management. So you guys, everyone must be aware of this performance management, where we will be having a discussion with our manager every 3 months, every 6 months, but every 1 year definitely they will be having a discussion, making sure that what you have done in that 1 year, based on that, your hike and your promotion, everything depends on that. That's what the performance management. And financial management. Yeah, someone from our team only now, someone is working on the financial management. That is a complete different module. So we got these many modules which are available in this Workday. Okay. So now, what exactly we are going to learn? Right, we need to understand that what we are going to learn. We are going to learn core HCM. Okay, the name itself shows that it's a core HCM. That is a foundation of this complete Workday. And when it comes to core HCM, which gives the topics which we are going to cover in the core HCM, which gives you, the understanding of the Workday. Like, if you, for example, if you go to the next modules, I mean to say, if you want to learn other modules also, this is the foundation where you can understand how it functions, the Workday functions. So that's the reason we are focusing on only core HCM module. And in the next slide or coming slides, I'll let you know what are all the topics we are going to cover in the core HCM. Okay, yeah, these topics, see, I've just mentioned these topics to understand that. Why I have mentioned this is, these are all the topics which we are going to, cover this in the next slide. I'll show you that. So this is, for example, we are going to go with the supervisory organization or compensation and job profile, security. So what I'm trying to say is everything is interlinked. If you need to understand what exactly the job profile, you need to understand the supervisory organization. Then only you can understand this. So that's, everything is interlinked or interrelated. We'll talk deeper into when we go to the topic. Yeah, these are all the topics which are available. There are 10 topics which we'll be covering it, including integrations or technical part, what we call it. And when it comes to, that's what the techno-functional I was talking about. So first topic is where we'll be talking about where we stand, or like how we proceed in the Workday ecosystem. Because we need to understand that outside, if you look into, I guess you guys are in LinkedIn. I'm not sure with that. Like, if you're not using LinkedIn, try using that, because most of the Workday chunk is available in the LinkedIn. Okay. outside there is like, you may see many posts are there in the LinkedIn, try to understand that many modules are available. So sometimes we will be clumsy that which module we need to go. So what I can suggest you are how it works. This has been, tailor made with that. And normally how I work on here is, it's not that I'll just come here and every day I'll run something and I'll go off. I'm the person like, it will be fruitful to you guys where I can give the live scenarios or real-time scenarios because I'm working in parallelly. So I will give those scenarios, you guys understand better on that. It's not that just creating it. I normally a person like where I go with the logic. Even I work till today, I work with the logic because in Workday, what will happen, it's a dynamic system. Not the 2 days are same in Workday. So what we need to do, we need to go with the logic to understand that what we are doing. It's not that just you will go with the flow. Anyway, yeah, that we will discuss it later. Just I'm talking about how it works or like how we proceed further. So when it comes to the core concepts, I can say that how we fit into the ecosystem of the Workday. That is very, very important. And I have seen that it's not that I can say most of the times others are not saying that. I don't want to point out others. Just I'm giving you information that's very, very important where we stand ourselves in the Workday ecosystem. We come from a different backdrop. Like few people are from HR, few people are from from the talent acquisition team, that's recruitment and all. So we need to understand that how we can proceed. Okay, that's the core concepts and the navigation part. That is tenant. I was talking about tenant, right? So we'll talk about tenant also. What are the types of tenants and all? We have that in the next or upcoming slides. And when it comes to the organizations, so what is there is backbone of this core HCM is supervisory organization. So why supervisory organization is very important? We need to understand that supervisory is what we are doing with that. It's not that we are going to create it. It's very simple. That's a task which we are doing it. But why we are going to create that? Okay. Because we are going to manage people in a company. For example, there are 2,000 employees in a company. Example. How we are going to manage them? Are we going to give them the same salary for the 2,000 employees? Yes or no? As a company,
not that.
no, right?
Yeah.
So as a company point of view, we are not going to give the same salary for the 2,000 employees. And those 2,000 employees, they are not doing the same work, right? Actually, they are not doing the same work. They are doing their different work. So that's how it works. So how we are going to manage them? That's our job, right? The HCM is talking about human capital management. We are going to manage the people. How we are going to manage the 2,000 employees? How we are going to manage 10,000 employees in a company? So that's our job. So in order to do that, we go ahead and we can segregate them. We cannot put them in the same umbrella. So we can segregate them. How we are going to segregate them? By going with the supervisory organization. Is it clear? We will be creating supervisory organization for every manager. The only thumb rule is that manager should have at least one reportee. Then only we can create a supervisory organization. We'll talk more about it once we go to the topic, and this is how I can give the introduction of the topic. And we are creating a supervisory organization. After that, in that supervisory organization, how we are going to staff employees? The Workday has provided two staffing models, which is job management and position management. How we are going to do that? And we'll be going with the same thing with the jobs and positions. How we are going to create a job profile, creating a position, and what is the job family group and all. So we try to understand that, and we'll be creating all this. And we hire employees in supervisory organization. See, that's the reason I told you every topic is interlinked and interrelated. So if you understand, supervisory organization, then only you can understand the chapter 5 or topic 5, which is hiring employees in supervisory organization, where we are going to hire an employees in supervisory organization, right? So that's how everything is interlinked. And after we hire an employees, normally we do that little later. This will be like, may not be the same, the pattern or the structure which we'll follow, but here and there this will be the same. The topics would remain the same. So when we go with the compensation, so first we need to, this is called core compensation. This is a core HCM, right? So there are two types of compensation in Workday. One is core compensation. It includes in the core HCM, and there is a advanced compensation. That is, as I've told you earlier, that's a separate module. So we'll be creating the compensation part. That's how it works, how we default the compensation and everything. We'll be looking into that. And then business process. So what is a business process? If I have a company, in India only I have 4 branches in the company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire few HRs first, and I will say that go ahead and hire people. So how they will be hiring a people, like for 1 round, 2 rounds of interview, 3 rounds of interview. I have not given any instructions to them. I have not given anything which is in the documented or which is in the template. So what they will do, everyone do their own, right? Those 4 HRs, how they're going to do that? They will do their own as they wish. So that won't work to run the business. So every business got their own definitions and the framework, how it works. That's the reason we got, if you take one company, they'll be having, 3 rounds, 2 rounds of interview, 4 rounds of interview. That is a business process only. I mean, that company got decided that this is the way how it defined. And the termination also. I mean, if you want to exit from the company, we'll be serving 1 month notice period, 2 months notice period. Why is that? Because every company got their own set of rules. That's what the business process which we are talking about. We'll be configuring the business process and looking into that how it works. And then coming to the security. Till business process, which I can say that we are actually talking about the functional part. Of course, few will be mixing the security too, but this is actually overall functional part. And then the technical part, I was talking about techno-functional, right? So it's actually 70% of the functional and 30% of the technical. That's what we will be learning. So when it comes to the security, so what we are going to learn in the security, it's not that someone is going to hack your computer. No, we are not doing that. This is absolutely, we are talking about Workday only, right? So for example, if we take compensation, which we have already created the compensation and all. So how it works in the compensation, if I'm an employee, I can go to my profile, I can check my compensation. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
But can I go ahead and change my compensation?
No, it is not possible.
Not possible, right? Otherwise, everyone will be, every compensation crores of rupees, right?
Definitely.
And you cannot go ahead and check your colleague's compensation also. Maybe out
No,
of that
that is
you will
not
share.
good.
Yeah, you cannot see that.
Yeah.
So what exactly we call it? That's the security. Right? So that's the security. We are going to give the, security part. That's what the security which we are talking about, how we are going to, configure the security groups and all. We'll be looking into that in the security. And then, now we are talking about reports. So for reports, what do you mean by reports? If one manager is having one requirement, okay, so one manager is asking for, I want one person, one employee, maybe the address, one employee address they want. So it's easy for us. We can go ahead and as a Workday functional consultant or techno-functional consultant, it's easy for us to go to that employee's profile and we have an access to that Workday. So we can get their information. We can give that to that manager. That's fine. If it is one person, if it is 1,000 employees information, if it is 2,000 employees information, how long it will take to go ahead and each and every profile to get the data? Will take longer time, right? So for that, we are actually using reports to pull the reports, pull the data. And we also have few things. In order to pull the reports, we need fields like employee ID, employee name. These are all the fields. Okay. So few fields which Workday will be providing. Maybe we don't require those fields. We need to create our customization of the fields. That's what we are talking about, the calculated fields. Okay. Now, I got a question for you guys. Maybe, I guess everyone would be aware of Workday where we don't have a coding, right? I guess everyone would be knowing that at least we don't have a coding. That's the reason you're coming here to proceed with the Workday. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So why we don't have a coding? Can anyone guess that or know that?
Because maybe they already set up these things, so we can customize it.
Okay.
It is already done by in background by the software developers. So maybe we can use for that.
Okay. If anyone wants to give another try, yeah, it's good. I will let you know that. Yeah, you are closer to that answer, but yeah. So anyone wants to guess or know anything? Like why we don't have a coding? All right. Yeah, I'll go through that. Because outside of the system, I'm talking about outside of the Workday, data is important, right? Nowadays, data is important. Everyone aware of it and everyone knows it. So in order to see till this reports, what we have done, we have created or we have loaded lots of data, creating supervisory organization, creating job profile, creating positions, and created a compensation part, and a business process what we are going to hire an employees. Everything is been generating the data, right? So what will happen with the data in outside of the Workday? Data is being saved in the form of tables. Okay. So in order to retrieve the data, I'm talking about outside. In order to retrieve the data, we'll write SQL query. But in the Workday, the data is saved in the form of business object. We'll come to know that what is a business object and all, but I'm just giving you a hint of it, like how it works, glimpse. Okay. So data is being saved in the form of business object, and that is being managed by Workday only. That is the reason we don't have a coding. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yep. Now, the next one is integrations. So why do we go with what exactly the integrations and what are all the options we have? So when we go with I was talking about all the modules, right? So core HCM, benefits, payroll, recruitment, all these are all modules. So if these modules, obviously, if we are not taking it from the Workday only, we means as a company, it's not mandatory that I can take all the modules from Workday. Maybe I have core HCM from the Workday, recruitment is from the Workday. So rest of the modules like payroll is from ADP. ADP is providing the payroll. So all these modules needs to talk to each other, right? Data needs to be sent. So what will happen, like when it comes to 2000 employees, when they're going to get the salary needs to be credited in every month, what will happen in the back end? The core HCM team, they will be sending the data to payroll team. Actually, payroll team is checking that, and they will be sending the data to finance team for the approval. Then only the salary gets credited in those 2000 employees account. So what happened in the background, that's what the integrations which you're talking about. That means all the systems needs to talk to each other. That's what the integration. So we have got like EIB, that is Enterprise Interface Builder. That is one of the integration, and we call core connectors. We'll be knowing that core connectors, and there is a major integrations. Like I can say that it's a when it comes to the difficult integrations, or we can say that in the scenario based integrations, which are Workday Studio. Okay, that's not covering here because that Workday Studio needs to be installed. That's a plugin that needs to be installed from the outside, and that is based on the Eclipse, which has been working on it. And yeah, that's how it is. We no need to much worry about being, if you are into 100% technical role, yes, you need to at least understand that Workday Studio. But we are into the techno-functional role. Yes, if you know that EIB is how we are going to load EIB inbound and outbound, and the core connectors, these integrations are fine. Okay, that's what the topics. And when we talk about, I have been talking about tenant, right? So tenant is, it's very simple to understand that. Like if you go to the new place, what we'll do, we'll be taking renting the apartment or like any room or apartment, whatever it is. So we become a tenant over there. The similar concept where Workday is providing the tenant to the companies. And as soon as you join in a company, you will be getting an access with a unique URL with the username and password. Simply, there is nothing you are going to install in your laptop. Though it's an office laptop, you are not going to install anything. You can just get into the unique URL, whatever they are providing it to you, username and password, you just get into that and you can change your password. That's how, that simple it is in order to get into the Workday. And there are types of tenants which are available. The first tenant, which I can say that it's a global modern services tenant, GMS tenant. That's what you will be getting an access to in order to practice in these whole sessions. And I will be like every day how it works. I will be opening that tenant and I will be showing that how to configure it every day. Then you will be practicing that once we complete the session. That's how it works. And there are other tenants which we need to understand that those are all the implementation tenants. Now, these are all the tenants which we need to understand. There are three types of tenants, which is production and sandbox preview tenant. Once you get into the job, you will be getting access to these three tenants. So production, I guess everyone can understand that that's what the live tenant and where the operations are happening in that production tenant. And sandbox tenant is a testing tenant, testing environment, where we first test it, then we send the information to production tenant. And there is something called sandbox preview tenant. We got the testing tenant, sandbox tenant. So why do we have this sandbox preview tenant? So I was talking about earlier, Workday is providing updates. Every year, twice, they are going to provide the updates, which is in the month of March and month of September. So in order to test those updates, we have a separate dedicated tenant, that is sandbox preview tenant, which has been provided by Workday. Okay. Now, as I can say that there are no prerequisites. Normally people would be asking that if there is any prerequisites we require to know that. There are no prerequisites, but if you have HR backdrop or like related to that, at least understanding of that, it will be added advantage. When you see that the right hand side, we have all the roles which are available, like Workday HCM functional, techno-functional analyst and all. So according to that, we can apply for that, and according to our experience and how we're going to expertise on this, and that's how it is. And it will be 40-hour sessions, like the whole, like I can say that it takes 40 hours to complete the core HCM part, whatever the topics which I was referring to. So that's it, guys. Any questions from your end? Any questions? Yes or no? I mean, that's. I have not seen this much silent batch actually. At least you will be having a question or like say yes or no, communicate that. That's okay. I understand you don't have any questions. Yeah, thank you for the reply. Yeah, if you don't have any questions, yeah, we are good to go. Okay then. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining.